After DMC4 selling 3 million copies on a failed reboot, there was one question on every single Devil May Cry fan's mind. Where's DMC5 at? It's been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years since the last real Devil May Cry game came out, till that one faithful E3 announcement.
DMC is back!
Balance was restored to the universe once again, uniting the entire community around DMC5's hype till its 2019 release. But how does this title hold up in 2024? Hello, it's the Devil Joe, back again with a brand new video. And today on Devil May Cry 5's 5th anniversary, the fuck? 2019 was 5 years ago?!
I'm sorry.
We are almost at the 10-year gap, Capcom! Where's that DMC6 trailer? Anyways, I'll be looking at 5 things Devil May Cry 5 did right, and 5 things it did wrong. Without further ado, let's get this party started. The first thing it got right are them sweet-ass high-definition visuals. I know that DMC4 had some really gorgeous anime visuals, but with Devil May Cry 5 it comes with some of the best photorealistic graphics the human eye has ever laid eyes on. Going back to the gritty look that the first Devil May Cry in DMC3 had. Not the exact look, it does give off the same feeling of dread these games had, using the more muted colors of the PS2 era Devil May Cry titles. Everywhere you go in DMC5 makes you feel like you're in constant danger 24/7. Like a demon can pop out any moment to mess your shit up, till it realizes that it ran into the wrong ass white-headed sex machine. It even does what DMC2 tried to do. On the flip side, it's done much better thanks to modern technology. The first half of the game takes place in a demon-infested Redgrave City, filled with Clyfoth vines literally everywhere, alongside ashes of human corpses that are pretty much sucked dry of their own blood because of the hentai tentacle stabbings. It's a good thing that Itsuno used London as a template, because of the knife crimes going on over there. Makes me feel like DMC5 might as well be an indirect documentary about life on the streets of London. Not to mention it's the perfect city to base an urban environment in this franchise off of, providing a pretty good mix of gothic architecture with a few modern aspects. You'll be going through interesting locales that lend themselves to a few interesting encounters, like the city bridge, a whole ass flea market, a goddamn train station, the city's capital that looks like a place you'd see in a 90s OVA anime, if anyone decided to do that shit in live action. The later half of DMC5 takes place inside of the Clyfoth, and my god does this place remind me of that good old Ninja Gaiden 2 Chapter 14. Bloodied up rivers everywhere you turn, fucked up looking branch thingies, weird ass looking hazards. Shit looks like something you'd see in a horror movie. Them character models have once again been meticulously crafted, utilizing modern RE engine technology, using actual models scanning their bodies and faces. Hell, some of the fabrics and weapons are quite literally scanned. Y'all heard that right, Dante and Vergil are real, but the models aren't just scanned. They have a few more likenesses of the actual character rendered onto their faces, so that the main cast could look a lot like their DMC4 counterparts, only aged up except for Lady. I like the fit in the face, but we lose some key assets. On both Lady and Trish with the 4K jump, Dante, Vergil V, and Nero look great in 4K. So yeah, DMC5 is a great looking game that has the aesthetics of a live action version of a 90s OVA anime, and I love it for doing that. Second thing Devil May Cry 5 got right is the mission structure. Since the first Devil May Cry, the series always wanted to spice up the gameplay flow by sprinkling in a few mind-bending puzzles and platforming, sometimes both at the same time. They thought we'll get bored if the game was all combat encounters. Itsuno was wrong, so what does DMC5 do? It says fuck it, especially how it was done in DMC4. It was ass! Instead, all missions in DMC5 are full of encounters, with little to no puzzles whatsoever, following a straightforward path just like Ninja Gaiden 2. It avoids the where the fuck do I go sort of level design, without having a shit ton of doors to go through. Wait, I just realized something writing this damn script. Devil May Cry 5 is the only game in the franchise to have no doors whatsoever, encouraging you to head on over to the next encounter as soon as can be. I know that you still have the Nidhogg hatchlings that would really stink up badly, especially inside of a leather jacket for a long ass time, and that one door in V's Mission 14, but that shit don't count. It rarely shows up every now and then, in a handful of missions. The most puzzle-heavy mission, being Dante's Mission 12, is pretty damn self-explanatory. Every hall is full of fights, and you'll automatically bump into the blood clots.
It's been a while since I used my brain this much.
Dante, you didn't need much brain power to figure out where to go. Despite DMC5 focusing more on combat encounters, the missions aren't 100% linear. You're allowed to explore every nook and cranny of the mission, to find secret missions or orb fragments. Platforming is still a thing in this game, but it's much more forgiving since the camera angles are better positioned for this sort of thing. So yeah, DMC5 is a game that allows its mission structure to focus on a strong point, the combat, with each mission being a ton of fun to go through. Hell, replaying the whole game as Vergil highlights how much of a blast these missions are to play around in, especially the V missions. Third thing Devil May Cry 5 knocked out of the park is the combat. This game right off the bat has 3 playable characters, 4 once you include Vergil into the mix. The 4 of these guys play differently to one another. Deadweight Nero is back in this title. It's not just me calling him Deadweight, it's now canonized. Oh, the legendary memes. Like in DMC4, he's back as a simplified Dante, using the Red Queen and Blue Rose. Sword swipes, pause combos, air attacks, succeed, all that good shit is here. Collar up charge shots, all seems fine and well. But something's missing, I can't quite put my finger on it. Oh right, that Devilbringer is gone, out of the picture. Instead, Nero gets Devilbreaker arms to change up his gameplay a bit. Pretty much putting in Dante styles without putting in Dante styles. Each arm does something different that comes in with chargeable supers, breaking the damn thing on impact. You heard that right, they break! On 3 conditions. Getting smacked when using it after a super, pushing the L1 button for a DMC3 style DT burst. For an AoE, that shit comes in handy at times. As for what each Devilbreaker does, I'm thinking of making a whole ass video, ranking each Devilbreaker, DLC ones included. Nero is a blast to play as, with the nice quality of life improvements like Devilbreakers. Even the newer moves using the Red Queen makes him easy to pick up and play for new players, while providing some solid depth for series veterans. Plus, you get the Devilbringer back by the end of the game. Other than grabbing enemies with it, you can now punch the shit out of him mid-combo. Then there's Poetry Boy V. I'll get to him much later in this video. As for now, I don't want to spoil the fun. Suffering rage and annoyance at the exact same time. We finally get to play as the legendary Wacky Woohoo Pizzaman Dante once again. The fighting styles are on-the-fly switchable, meaning you're able to switch up from a Swordmaster combo to a Trickster teleport to thrash the other hordes. Gun cut a few enemies with Gunslinger. If an enemy attacks, switch over to Royal Guard to assert your dominance on them petty demons. Pretty much. Like in DMC3, yes, I said 3, not 4. Dante's a whole armory. 5 firearms paired with 5 devil arms. 7 once you include DSD, Rebellion, and Sparta in the same loadout. Each of them wind up with bonkers creativity. Every single devil and firearm comes with a shit ton of moves to sink your teeth in. Barlog, a punch-kick weapon that separates punching kicking into its own separate moveset, to be used in tandem. Sign me the fuck up. Cavalier, the next melee weapon Dante gets, is a fucking motorcycle that gets you to do routine shit like this. A fully realized concept that Itsuna wanted to put into DMC 2 and 3, but couldn't because PS2 tech. Check it out, the ice nunchucks are back. It can now turn into a fire Donatello stick, plus a lightning-infused cross-section staff, for some good AoEs. Through the power of if anyone's gonna stab me, it's gonna be me this time around, the Wacky Woohoo Pizzaman gets an extra 6! Second, Devil Trigger filled to the brim with extra earth-shattering moves. You can't heal out of it, mind you. It can only be turned off once the gauge runs out. To fill that gauge, you need to sacrifice the standard DT gauge. On the other hand, snapping in and out of it is possible. That's if you're stylish enough for it. The mechanic is literally called Quadruple S. Be sure to get a full SDT gauge while maintaining that Triple S rank at all times to pull it off. Plus Devil Sword Dante, a combo of Rebellion and Sparta. Unlocking Swordmaster tricks, no Swordmaster required. Plus summon swords that act differently with each style. In my opinion, it's a goated claymore. For firearms, you still have the Coyote A boomstick. Buckshots, fireworks, gunstingers, and much more are available with that shotgun. Kalina Ann is back, both of them in fact. The OG is a Secret Mission 11 collectible, lying there after Urizen possessed Lady. It works a bit like DMC4's Kalina Ann with Lady. Same thing with Kalina Ann on its own. They are dual-wielded like Ebony and Ivory, for double the firepower and the fuck-off laser. Then there's Dr. Faust, a cowboy hat firearm using red orbs as ammo to shoot him. Throw a hat on a demon to double the red orb count. Just make sure you don't get hit. You'll end up losing a lot of them. plus the huge meteor shower, all being on the fly switchable at the same time. Plus irregular full custom is a thing in this game. If you can't tell, Dante's already one hell of a party to play as. It doesn't matter if you're new to the series or have been playing it for years on end. We can't forget about the motivated elephant in the room, the approaching storm Vergil, an outright powerhouse who can thrash an entire room filled with demons in a flash, using 3 devil arms. Yamato for quick slashes, judgment cuts, and judgment nut in. Mirage Edge for combos that are similar to the Rebellion ones, and Beowulf being as bay as ever. All 4 characters have their own unique gameplay styles that make DMC5 feel like 4 completely different video games in one, because of how everything changes based on the tools you have with each character, forcing you to approach each situation differently. Some of the known DMC hidden mechanics are intact, like jump cancelling to stay airborne, switch cancelling to cancel out of recovery frames, and a few iframes to get around most encounters. Plus, DMC5 encourages you to experiment with different tricks on different enemy types that are fun to fight. Which reminds me, the 4th thing DMC5 finally got right are the enemy types. I love playing Devil May Cry 4, especially Devil May Cry 3. But you know what holds these 2 games back? The most frustrating enemy types that go against the idea of pulling off stylish combos. After all, a challenge the DMC team had was trying to figure out a balance between challenging the player while giving them a chance to play creatively. Devil May Cry 5 is the one game that managed to crack this code with flying colors. Because, well, none of these devils were a major annoyance to fight. Not as annoying as these guys anyway. Like all the other games in this series before, you got pure combo fodder enemies. I'm mainly talking about the mini Impuses. These critters serve as punching bags, to put it lightly, being there to practice basic combos, jump cancels, you name it. They aren't the best for Royal Guard practice. This game has a crap ton of better options for Royal Guard practice. The second category of punching bags are the HD'd up prides. Hell, Kana, these guys are far more aggressive than Impuses. Now that is what makes some better Royal Guard practice. They hit you up more often than the insects I don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be boys do. These guys are fun, but they're bland as fuck. I'm already starting to miss the cooler Reapers, who dash around, teleport towards you. They could have been some good fun to fight off. Next we got a few flying rat types. The Green Orb Impusa. Useful little critters whenever you need to restock some HP. Pyro Bats shooting out fireballs and fire beams at you, along with Hell Bats. They might do the same thing, but these Bloodgoyle looking devils throw massive rays of fire at who you're playing as. Not to mention a fireball spread. In any other DMC game, these guys were gonna be an absolute pain in the scrotum. On the other hand, these guys are pretty fun to jump cancel, no bullshit teleportation attached to it. Sin Scissors are back in 4 flying around the skies, phasing through the walls, swiping at you every chance they get. However, these guys are a joy to jump cancel as Dante. Then we get the Baphomet hovering Goatman, shooting popsicles your general direction. Again, fun jump cancel strats. Enter the Brutes, I'm talking about the Butcher dudes. On their own, they can smack you around, tear you in and out badly. Once they're in their awakened form, that can pop up any moment. But if you know how to counteract them, they can turn into combo fodder. When you're the Wacky Woohoo Pizza Man, they are the 3rd best tier of Royal Guard plus everything practice. Check it out, Angelos are back. Scudo Angelo Lieutenants, who rush at you, wanting to chop up the cast member you're playing as, using a shield to block your shit. Like the DMC4 Angelos, minus that cheap ass stinger. These boys can be styled on, but they fight back. This won't be a Devil May Cry entry without lizard people. They have returned. Standard reptiles are a lot like the DMC 1 and 4 reptiles. No shield attached. Clawing at the player, throwing spitballs. These boys are easy to flex them tricks on. They're scaly asses. Look what we have here, Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Chaos. Even the name is a Sonic reference. They can launch, claw tail strike, gyro spin, all that good stuff. I think we all know where this is heading. I bet y'all can already tell I love fighting everything in this game as the Wacky Woohoo Pizza Goat. This man has it all. On the other hand, there is more than one way of smoking him out, as the other characters, except for a certain sandal-wearing skinny boy. I'll get to you later, Poetry Man. Here come the mini-bosses, Queen Impusa, a large as fuck violent insect lady, thingy smashing violently at the pro tag, with unadulterated rage, while jumping on you for a stomp. Vergil and Nero can take it out using jump cancels, summon sword bullets, judgment cuts, SDT supers. Dante, on the other hand, I ain't gonna sugarcoat this.
Damn!
What do we have here? Nilo Angelo from Wish.com. The leader of the pack, a real swinger. If that sword hits you, most of that HP has already been melted. Alongside them hopes and dreams of finding any nice girls. The moveset he's packing is a diluted Nilo Angelo moveset. The one that the boss had from DMC 1. No punches, no kicks, no fireballs. Even the summon swords are gone from this dude's moveset. He's a difficult son of a bitch, but he's comboable if you're able to exploit his patterns. Alongside the weaknesses, you'll be styling all over him as Dante. Once you take them get good pills, you'll smoke him out using the royal release. Guess who's back? Back again. No bodies are back. Tell a friend. They still have the mask gimmick from 1. Each mask uses a different method of fucking your day up. Eye bums plus Coomer hand. Then there are the infamous Furies. Are they a pain in the ass? Yes, as Nero and Vergil, especially this asshole. However, both of these guys have their own methods of dealing with it. Plus, I'd rather fight a whole room of Furies instead of a single Blitz encounter, as Dante Royal Guard is your best friend dealing with this future handbag. So yeah, DMC5's enemies strike a great balance between combo fodder while challenging the player. It doesn't hurt that design-wise some of these demons look like they actually crawled out of hell, with them horrifying designs, adding to that live-action 90s OVA anime aesthetic. Fighting off terrifying looking monsters who crawled out of your worst nightmare, making this game the second best DMC title to get the enemy selection right. The fifth thing DMC got right is the plot. The overarching narrative in my opinion is the second best Devil May Cry story ever told. The greatest DMC plot goes to 3. On the other hand, this plot manages to execute many things right, in some unexpected ways. For one, the stakes are pretty high with the main antagonist Urizen, who starts murking a whole room filled with devil hunters, who've been doing this shit for years, bruv. Literally starts the game by breaking the rebellion. Rest in peace to the greatest sword ever. He's the same dude who tore off Nero's Devilbringer, not looking familiar at all. All the stakes are personal for everybody for completely different reasons. Dante facing his past demons, Nero for vengeance and self-actualization, V to make himself whole again, against the giant Mundus 2.0, since Nero had his arm chopped off, and humiliated inside of his home pretty much, and called "Go! You're just dead weight!" by the guy who he looked up to. Nero has a lot to prove throughout the game's runtime, making him a surprisingly more entertaining protagonist than he was in DMC4. A lot of the plot is pushed by his own determination to get back at the Demon King to restore his lost pride, while proving to Dante he's not dead weight. After all, he's still kicking himself in the balls for not being able to protect Credo, his brother and mentor. Then there's Discount Adam Driver V. Truth be told, his involvement seems fishy as all hell. Like he seems to know all the Qlipoth's mechanisms like the back of his hand. Most of the time he speaks in poems and riddles. Nero is definitely weirded out by him. So is Dante and Nico, along with Lady and Trish. Later on, we come to find out that V is hiding feelings of powerlessness and regret for a lot of genocidal actions that led to the deaths of millions for the sake of more power, till we get the reveal that V is Vergil's human half. All this time, while Urizen was his demonic side that lusted for more power. Turns out he became a Mundus 2.0, growing the Qlipoth fruit, sucking up all human blood. The same way he rose to prominence shows how Vergil is no different to the guy who ruined his life. V turned out to be Vergil's more rational side. I like how Vergil's psychology is being explored here, unraveling the two sides that make up his own psyche. The more dominant demonic side is characterized as a behemoth, who's a lot like Mundus, being very one-track minded in his pursuit of power, along with the repressed human side that has a lot of rational thought, ending up in an almost fatherly bond with Nero, making up for lost times, I guess. The wacky woohoo pizza man Dante is here, as charismatic as you remember him, cracking jokes at them demons' expense, like the goat he is. On the other hand, my boy's got layers to him. In this game, Dante is a hardened devil hunter who's been at it years on end, fighting demons in Vergil's memory. Once he hears of his brother's return, the dude immediately storms off to the Qlipoth, wanting to go at it on his own, not wanting anyone to get caught in his own crossfire. Not Lady or Trish, especially not Nero. Not wanting the kid to kill a family member like he did before, knowing the danger Vergil can pose, till he reaches his brother, shocked to see the monstrosity he has ultimately become. After getting up from his own coma, Dante ends up piecing together that Vergil used the Yamato to quite literally split himself into two, realizing that Rebellion can merge both human and demon sides. Both of their self-impalements have completely different meanings. One is an outright rejection of all humanity. Hell, Vergil is facing away from the Sparta family portrait. The other one is embracing who you are, with the good and the bad, evident by Dante directly facing the Sparta family portrait. fully embracing the human and demon halves. A good show of character development from a long-ass timeline of games. When the two brothers meet up again for the third time, we finally get to see the main crux of the sibling rivalry in the actual games. That being how the two of them experienced Ava's death, with Dante being the lucky one, who got picked up by his own mom, and Vergil, well, not so much. He thought she left him behind to die. On the other hand, Dante saw the part where she was trying to run after Vergil to get him to safety. Eva didn't make it out alive. Urizen bites the apple. Come on, Dante, you could have easily shot that. Gets more powerful, yet smoked by Dante. Proves how useless the entire pursuit of power actually was. V becomes whole again, bringing back...
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Motivation Man officially returns. Momentarily beats Dante, teleports away. Nero still wants payback, begging Dante to tag along, till dropping this bombshell on him.
He's your father!
Gets Nero to be perplexed like crazy, not knowing what to do in this situation. Dante is going over to fight Vergil to end this whole Qliphoth shenanigans, deciding that it's time for Vergil to die. Till Nero finds his final resolve through one phone call to Kyrie, deciding to end this entire sibling rivalry, proving that he was not deadweight at all. This plot manages to flesh out Nero, Dante, and most of all Vergil, since it's a character study of Vergil's overall psyche, while making Nero a more likable protag. But I can't see him leading an entire DMC game on his own. He got promoted from being DMC's Robin to the franchise's Nightwing. The title did give us the best Dante portrayal since his DMC 3 counterpart. Now that we got all the things that make Devil May Cry 5 a great return to form out of the way, we get to the things it fumbled along the way. First thing this game got wrong are the Qliphoth visuals getting stale. When I first waltzed into the damn tree, it was a fever dream for me, vibing out to the creepy yet grotesque atmosphere of the Qliphoth. The place had blood rivers, spiked hallways, reminded me of chapter 14 and 15 in Ninja Gaiden 2. They had pretty similar aesthetics. After many playthroughs, I started to realize something. Ninja Gaiden 2 took me across the globe. I've seen the Big Apple, Russia, Venezia, the woods before showing up to hell. That's why these stages felt unique. The Qliphoth, on the other hand, I've been in this stinky-ass treehouse for half of the game's runtime. It's all starting to look very samey. In all honesty, they should have given us more time to go through Redgrave City before throwing us into the Qliphoth. Or they could have had more diverse locations inside of the tree, so that the title doesn't make you feel like you've been staring at the same locations for the entire playthrough. The second thing this game did wrong was removing DMC4's hidden tech. Even though DMC5 has a ton of depth to it, with a relatively high skill ceiling, along with its own hidden mechanics. The problem comes in when some hidden tech has been stripped away, because they were quote-unquote bugs and glitches. Yep, I'm talking about reversals and inertia, that allowed you to redirect any direct attack moving in its opposite direction, with inertia allowing you to drift in midair, switching your own trajectory, giving us the infamous guard flying, that provided us with them don't touch the ground challenges with burial. In Devil May Cry 5, these have been axed off as a bug fix. You know what else was a buggy ass glitch? Juggling and Onimusha warlords. That became a core mechanic in Devil May Cry. If Mikami and Kamiya had this mentality back then, you won't be able to juggle demons in any Devil May Cry game since. It would have already been axed by then. In DMC4, it was inertia and reversals keeping this unfinished mess of a game alive for the longest time. In fact, because of this tech, it's what's keeping DMC4 going to this day. But here's a thought. Maybe this tech was removed for accessibility reasons, so that anyone picking up DMC for the first time doesn't get overwhelmed, or put off when the character starts drifting to the side, or backwards. Not to mention inputting a forward-moving stinger to go backwards accidentally. On the other hand, there's a way to get around this dilemma, and keep everybody satisfied. How about putting gameplay adjuster sliders to set the level of inertia a player wants to have, along with gravity intensity adjustments if you want to make it heavier or floatier. Turn the reversals on or off at the start screen or at the pause menu. The newer PlayStation Spider-Man games have done this in all 3 entries. Then everybody wins. The Combo Matter Bros have a crap ton of tricks to play around with, and the new players on the block can take their time learning the ins and outs of the game. There, problem solved. I'm speaking as a guy who isn't good at using this tech like at all, since there are a few glitches that eventually became a core part of a franchise's gameplay, opening up brand new possibilities of creativity in each entry. Just look at the inertia mods for DMC5, the community was cooking up some art with this one. So yeah, maybe in DMC6 they should put them back in, and let people adjust how much of these mechanics they want. Just saying. Third thing DMC5 got wrong is the camera at times. In general, the camera angles in DMC5 are alright, for the most part. Everything is clearly visible when exploring Redgrave or the Qlipoth. It's fine in combat. At times it can spaz out dealing with a crap ton of enemies in a confined space, where the cameraman is just too hyped. I mean, bruv, just chill, my guy. Keep it to one angle, my boy. Calm down. But most of the time the camera's alright. I think it even outdoes its predecessors in a few instances. Funny enough, lock-on isn't exactly a quick fix to some of the times when the camera freaks out. At times it can add to it, which reminds me. Fourth thing DMC5 did wrong is lock-on at times. The lock-on is serviceable in DMC5, keeping your focus on the target. Most importantly, helps out with the directional inputs. Lets you know how much health an enemy has. Overall, it does its job. With that being said, you might be asking, what's your problem, dog? 3 words, lock-on cycling. Playing DMC3 and 4, you were able to swap targets when you're moving, using the L3 button. The prompt shows up on the enemy you're directly facing. In 5, you can still cycle through your targets, but if you move for a second, then it's can. Once you hit the lock-on button, it will target who's in front of you, when you're lucky. Sometimes it targets those who are a couple of 100 miles away from your general direction, or a demon below you when you're airborne, causing you to keep flinging the camera around. When you leave the lock-on button, you might be thinking, why would you let go of the lock-on button in the first place? Well, every time you play as Nero, you need to let go of the lock-on button to use the Devil Breaker. If you don't, you'll snatch the enemy towards you. It can make shit annoying at times. On the other hand, I didn't find it to be anything too problematic. Nothing to spoil DMC5 too much, or at all, unlike what's coming up next. Fifth thing DMC5 got wrong is V, the playable character. The idea for this poetry-spewing Kylo Ren is as follows. You're controlling 3 pets. A mini-boss from DMC1, Shadow, using pretty much the same moveset used against you in that game, along with a downsized DMC1 boss Griffin. Your eyes ain't fooling you. A lot of the moves are the same ones the giant bird used against you. Plus, the annoying-ass tank monster is back, but instead as a blob monster, using some similar tricks to the ones in DMC1's encounters. From a quick glance at Vergil's human side, you'll come to realize that the boy's a twig, who has no clue what a dumbbell looks like, or what a push-up is. He should have asked Dante if he had any leftover pizza, or he could have stolen a cheeseburger to feed his dying body, like how he stole that one dude's clothes. V can't hit anything on his own. You're expected to be a scheming puppet master, ordering your pets to claw, electrocute, laser the demonic hordes coming your way, having V himself deliver the killing blow. An experimental concept if I'm being honest. But as for the execution... Well, I fucking hate it! I feel like I'm playing as a scrawny wet seaweed found in a bowl of ramen noodles, with the gameplay depth of the amount of water found in a backed up toilet seat. Well, hot damn, I had no clue that my sudden hatred for V would turn me into the Joker. First off, Shadow and Griffin might appear to have an in-depth moveset, but with Iago you mostly get charge-ups, and variants of the same move. While you're charging up, the double jump glide cancels out your charge-ups. Same deal with Shadow. I find the kitty cat to be a better option than Griffin, because of the spikes and Sonic the Hedgehog strats. Here's what makes his pasty-looking toothpick ass annoying to play. The summons die out way too fast. You heard that right, both pets have their own health bars that deplete faster than you can blink. Especially Griffin. He turns into Popeye's chicken too quickly. When both of them are down, well, tough shit. You're a sitting duck. If you're lucky enough, pop the Nightmare DT to revive Griffin and Shadow instantly. But what if you don't have DT? Well, I hope you enjoy reenacting the cutscenes, where he's fumbling around like a decaying frail wimp, which is what you'll be doing most of the time, while getting that HP of yours drained. Did I mention that V's health bar depletes faster than Nero or Dante's health? So jump around till you get some DT back. What in the ass is this maniacal bullshit? When I pay my hard-earned money for a Devil May Cry game, I want to live out the fantasy of playing as a badass devil hunter, kicking demonic ass and taking names while doing it, oozing Giga Chad energy across the lands. Not a bent-out-of-shape Disney Star Wars My Chemical Romance reject. One other problem with V is that you literally have little to no control of where your pets are positioned. Shadow, the melee option, only attacks when you're close to the enemy. If you dodge or back out, tough shit, you can't get Shadow to teleport directly to the demon. You gotta wait till Shadow walks back over to the enemy. Same thing with Griffin. At least you can get him to fly back into the action, since he's got wings. Or summon Nightmare Laser everything your way to get the mission over with. To move on to Nero or Dante, it's a shame too since his missions are fun to go through when you're playing as Vergil, getting into some spicy encounters. Wait, what's that? Mission 13, the most combat heavy mission in the entire game. Let's see, Nero sounds like a decent choice. He's pretty fun. V, no screw that shit. Fuck both Deadweight Nero and Dead Corpse V. I'm going for the wacky woohoo fucking pizza man. Every goddamn time, no questions asked. Good thing that V is only playable for 4 missions, and optional only for 2 missions. Not to get on the player's nerves too much. But hey, much respect for Itsuno for taking the risk. Would have been nice if some of these ideas could have been reworked and fleshed out a bit more. In short, DMC5 is a kick-ass return to form that still holds up in 2024, managing to keep the high skill ceiling of the previous titles, while making it accessible to new players, without compromising a lot of core Devil May Cry mechanics. Even though there are gonna be a ton of players already missing reversals and inertia. Other than that, DMC5 is a ball to go through. Except for this asshat, while giving us the second best story in this franchise, exploring Vergil's character. I mean, hot damn, no wonder DMC5 almost made it to 8 million copies sold. A true testament to how great this franchise is. Devil May Cry 5 is single-handedly standing neck and neck with a few Resident Evils. That's a huge W for the franchise in my book. It's about time for a Devil May Cry 6 teaser, Capcom. You better make that shit come in fast. I was struggling to narrow down 5 things that DMC5 did right. It does way more than just 5. I also had to nitpick to find 4 things wrong. I found one pretty easily. With that out of the way, we come to the end of this video. What were your guys' thoughts on it? And what did DMC5 get right and wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and share this video with your buddies. And smash that subscribe button real impact style. At 10k subscribers, I'll do a whole ass Dante combo for real and full cosplay. Shoot the bell icon with an ebony and ivory bullet to get notified on whenever I upload a brand new Devil May Cry or other action game video. This has been the Devil Joe signing out. Happy Devil May Cry 5 anniversary. Catch you on the next one.